Okay, hi guys, and welcome to today's video, which is all about business operations. If I could simply and quickly define what business operations are, these are systems that you set up in the back end for the internal use. Customers aren't really exposed to it, but it's on the back end to help you run the business smoothly. And that is what it is. We'll be going through branding at a very top level, which feeds into packaging, which is what one part of business operations is. We'll discuss online presence, as well as sizing, courier or shipping, whichever word you prefer to use, or deliveries. And then we'll be going into returns or exchanges. So what I'll do is that I'll Google the definition and insert it below. But if I could try articulate it, I would say it's like it's a name that has a logo that helps you basically identify this business as this business. And if you want to go deeper, then you go into what the business stands for in terms of like brand purpose. But basically, all businesses have various elements that make that brand stand out or more memorable, right? For example, if I were to tell you, think about the Red Bank, you already know it might be ABSA. Oh yes. Okay, actually, before I get into the examples, I'm getting excited. But first things first, let's start with the elements of a brand. You have a brand name, you have a logo, you have a slogan. Some brands actually don't have slogans. I don't know, but yeah, you can have a slogan. You have a brand purpose, and then you have brand elements, which basically, or brand identity. So we're going to use my brand for an example so that you understand how it all comes together. My brand name is Barbara Mackenzie, and if you want to know where the name comes from, I'll leave a link below for my About Us page to understand where the name comes from. I have a logo. And then my brand slogan is the progressive woman, right? To give other examples so you understand what I mean, it is a little tagline that brands use either in their adverts, in their packaging, in any communication they do, they use it so you know who it is. For example, I'm loving it. We know that's McDonald's. Open Happiness, I don't know if it's their current one, but that's normally, or was, or is Coca-Cola. So for me, because I don't have billboards and TV adverts and things like that, you can't really see my brand in its entirety in that way. So the only way, which we're going to go into next, that you can experience my brand is packaging. And if you've been on my website and you see my packaging, I'll insert a picture just now. You'll basically see the similarities in the sense that it's clean, white, very minimalistic, and with a hint of pink, which is what my brand identity is. It's important to have packaging that speaks to your quality, about who you are, and if you tie it back to branding, it should be in line with your color scheme. So there's various options. You get boxes that you can purchase. I see a lot of American clothing brands do this. I've seen that they will courier their clothes in branded plastic. You also get wrapping paper. If you want to go cheap, wrapping paper is probably the best. You just wrap it up and then you put your sticker on there, which should be your logo or your brand name. Then we're going to go on to your digital and online presence. Much like branding, you want this to be in cahoots, tied to your brand. So if your brand, for example, you have maternity wear, your social media obviously will be pictures of your products, right? But to give your page more depth and more connecting opportunities with customers would be to have everything that has to do with babies, everything that has to do with being a mom, everything that has to do with pregnancy. So what you would do is that if there is an international pregnancy awareness day, is make sure that on that day you have something going on, whether it's a promotion, whether you're having a collaboration with an influencer, you ensure that there's something always ready for important monumental days like that. If you carrying on with the same maternity brand example, is that if, for example, there is a baby expo, that is something you definitely want. If you can't, for example, afford a 10,000 rand stand at the expo, you definitely want to go take a couple of pictures to show people that, hey, we were here, we engaged with this person, this is what we did, this is what we saw. It's to do anything and everything related to your brand. So for me, Barbara McKenzie Woman, Mother's Day is always important because I believe so strongly in women and their empowerment. I collaborate with a lot of women who own businesses because that's what I'm all about, progressive women. So now we're going to go into sizing. Sizing, I think, can be very tricky if you are not going to be using a widely accepted sizing chart, because the European sizing is very different to American, is different to the Australian. And those are the three main markets that we see on our clothes. Like if you buy from Mango, you know there's a UK size, there's a US size, and an Australian size. Those are the main ones. So to be honest, I still have not figured out which one South Africa is closest to. But what I did and decided on very early within the business is to use a South African chart from the get-go, and I've never had trouble with it. I used a couple of references. I looked at the Zando sizing chart. I looked at Spree when Spree was still a store then. I looked at Woolworths, and I looked at, I forgot the last one, but I looked at them. I printed them all out, and then I compared to see, oh, okay, cool. This price is quite similar. The centimeters per size are these, and these, and then I use that. Shipping and couriers. So as an online store, this is like a vital part of your business, because when people purchase something, they are expecting to get it, whether you deliver it yourself or you hire a third party to deliver it for you, things have to go out to the customer. I started off driving to each and every person, delivering each and every sale. And that was okay because I would have like 5 sales, which was fine. But then I started getting sales outside of Joburg, which needed Postnet, which is what I used for a very long time. Then I realized that Postnet actually, as great as it is, Postnet is a store-to-store kind of shop. I mean, delivery, in the sense that if I am sending it from Rivonia to Durban, it has to be in a store in Durban that is closest to the person, of which sometimes it's actually quite an inconvenience if you have to drive out to collect something. But if you're busy and you are not home all the time, dropping it at Postnet might be most convenient for you. So this is something you're going to learn with engaging with your customers, finding out what's comfortable for them. But long story short, I decided to start using Aramex, which is the same price, but with Aramex, they collect it from a point wherever you drop it off, and then they send it to your customers. You can buy an Aramex bag at Pick and Pay or at a Caltex garage. You drop it in the box and then it goes to your person. And what I love about it is that it comes straight to the person. The person doesn't even have to get out of their pajamas. They can go to their gate and get it, which is great. That's the kind of convenience people love. But like I say, it depends on your customer. And now this brings us to the last part of the video, which is returns and exchanges. So I had mentioned this in another video, is that if your sizing chart is not the best, you might experience exchanging for different size and whatnot quite a lot. But once people get used to your sizing, then that will reduce. But whether you allow refunds or accept refunds, that is entirely up to you. I would never really impose my views on that. But if you must know, Barbara McKenzie does allow refunds. I don't feel, I've seen a lot of businesses say no refunds. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's a bit mean. And what if you don't like the item? What if it's in poor quality? Like, really? I can't get my money back kind of thing. But that's why I decided that I would allow refunds. And refunds I allow for anything that is ready-made. If you purchased it and it was already made, I'm happy to accept the refund. If it was a made to order, that I do not accept refunds for, because I drove out, I bought fabric, I made this to your measurements, and if you want to return it, it's very unlikely that the person is going to have the exact same measurements that you had, you know. So that's the main reason why made to order for me is non-refundable. But if you do decide to go with refunds, it's important to know that you communicate to your people from the get-go that should they wish to have a refund, how the process will go. For myself, if you're going to get a refund from me, best believe that it does not include the courier, because whether you like the item or not, whether you're returning it or not, Postnet is not going to give me Postnet is not going to give me 99 Rand back, right? So in my refund calculation, 99 Rand is not coming back because someone paid for that, right? And it was me. Bank charges, I do not include, especially if you purchased online. Because my payments go in through a gateway, then it comes to me, no one is going to give me that money back, because that company is not going to give me money back when I have a refund. So definitely that I do not include. And what is the other one? No, that's it. But you also have to be very, very straightforward from the get-go, guys. If people buy items on sale, for example, the item was 600 Rand, they bought it for 400 Rand, you are refunding 400 Rand minus courier, minus bank charges. Don't refund people the same price all in one go. It's going to eat away at you. It's going to, don't do that. And that's it. And then in terms of exchanges, again, you will decide when and how you will allow exchanges. For example, if you bought something that is already made and maybe you would prefer it to be a little tighter, I'm happy to do that, right? But my clause is that if you ordered a size 30 and you got a size 30, but you want a size 32, I can do that happily. But you then have to return it at your cost, because why? You asked for this, you got this. It wasn't my mistake, right? And then I'm happy to return it at my cost or your cost, depending on how you guys feel. But I think there needs to be some sense of accountability with customers, because myself, I don't know about others, but I'm still a small brand. I cannot be doing returns back and forth until customers are happy, you know, like 5 returns back and forth because they want to pick the perfect size. No, I'm not $1 million business. So these things cost. So that's why if you really, really want to do the back and forth, please do it at your cost, because I'm a small businessman. I'm trying to make profits here. I'm not trying to spend and not get any money back. And you know, some people will try and do that. So you've just always got to be firm in your decisions and how your processes run. If you have an online store, the best thing is to have all these terms and clauses and conditions on one page so that they can see upfront in black and white what the case is. Because sometimes it is a bit unnerving and it feels like someone is making up rules on the spot. I think I've had that experience when I wanted to return something, and it felt like they were just creating, you know, rules out of nowhere. It's better to have it all in one place. A person can read and decide whether they want to proceed with an exchange or a refund or whatever the case is. So that rounds up today's video about business operations Like I said, these are more back-end things and systems that will help you tackle any speed humps with ease and smooth. Let me know if the video was helpful, guys. I'm not sure. I feel like it can be a lot all at once. If you want, me to take you through it in deeper detail, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to chat on email. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.